like everybody else, pal.
So a few months back, I made a video talking about Netflix and how in general, like most studios nowadays, that they don't know how to end any of their TV shows. Because they're horrible. And in that video, I got a lot of comments on how I didn't speak about enough Netflix shows, saying that I missed way more to mention than just a few I chose to speak about. And trust me, my people, I will get to them eventually. They haven't escaped my wrath, man. Believe me, there's a lot I have to speak about. But instead of adding on to more slander and dissing them even more than I have already, I had a revelation, a realization, a temptation, and an epiphany of something else that I've noticed about some of these trash studios. It's stupid. Media companies that make shows today either do one of three things when it comes to finalizing their TV shows. Number one being they give it a trash-ass ending, which might as well be called a trope nowadays because it happens all the time. Number two is that they actually give it a good ending. Ha! April Fools. And number three, which to contrary belief is the most infuriating and annoying one that pisses me off. And I am referring about none other. Then when they just decide to cancel the whole show, it's dumb. They just get rid of it, delete it off the face of the planet, wipe it clean, make it disappear blood. They move like it never existed in the first place, and when it was literally getting good, they decide to cancel it. And I hate that, man. It's a piss take. Canceling shows gotta be some of the most degrading shit to ever witness. Imagine loving something so much. You run straight home after school and blitz home after work just to binge watch the latest episode. But instead of there being an episode now, they just cancel the show. That's some bullshit, man. How can you take them away from us? I hate you guys. And for today's video, my beautiful people, I'm gonna talk about how some of the greatest shows I've ever watched just got cancelled. Because to this day, I'm still infuriated by it because it's stupid. And the first one that comes to mind is Inside Job. Because this one makes me sick. To this day, I will never understand how this even ended up being justifiably cancelled in the first place. I refuse to believe that it was because it was poorly received. That's some bullshit. The complete blasphemy for Netflix to go ahead and cancel this show, but greenlight Big Mouth for 8 seasons? 8 seasons? Bro, who likes Big Mouth? It's literally just straight up corn. You freaky ass niggas with your weird ass tendencies. You give a show like this 8 seasons, but not Inside Job. Let's be real, Inside Job probably got cancelled because it was way too accurate to the real shenanigans going on in our world. Like, imagine if it came out now, that shit would be like a documentary. For those of you that don't understand my frustration and theory here, Inside Job is unequivocally one of Netflix's best animated shows. I mean, to me, it goes band for band with another cartoon I'm gonna mention later on, but you lot gotta tap in here. If you're unfamiliar with it, Inside Job is a show about a team of people literally making up the shadow government. And it's their job to basically do a lot of conspiracy shit. Long story short, it's a show based entirely on conspiracy theories and how they could affect the real world. Lizard people, the Illuminati, supernatural shit, robotic presidents who end up trying to pull an Ultron and blow up the world, you know, the usual. Everything you think and know is a conspiracy theory is an Inside Job. And it was low-key a great show. It was hella entertaining, man. It had an interesting concept and one that can always intrigue you since there's a huge amount of conspiracy theories to even go off anyway. It's mad. I'll be honest there, it's been a couple of years since I've last seen it, so my memory on what happens in the show is a little hazy. But even then, I remember it being a sick, cool show to watch back when it first dropped. It was like Gravity Falls mixed with Rick and Morty. You had episodes in where they stopped the president from basically nuking humanity, a bunch of flat earthers hijack a boat, a spy episode, some Back to the Future shit, and even a time travel one in where instead of it being a normal cliche of time travel, it was just a timeline having minor changes every time. And that was hella unique to me at the time of when I saw it. I was shocked at how different they did that. And the show in general was just a lot of fun to watch and had its moments of being funny but unique. And when I even found out at the time that the show was getting cancelled, my first reaction was a straight up why? What made Inside Job so bad or so worth cancelling that they had to get rid of it entirely? It's not like it was a poorly received show. I'm certain a lot of people messed with it at the time and were way too eager to even want more seasons of it. And they definitely intended that to happen in the first place. Cause guess what? Even with the show being cancelled, it ended on a cliffhanger. It ended on something that was meant to continue the story, not end it. It was low-key rigged. Spoilers incoming here, but the final episode of part 2 ends with Reagan getting an invitation to join the flipping super Illuminati. Yeah, I know they look like a bunch of Doritos, but these men in the black robes, they started everything, and I mean everything. In fact, they're the reason why the whole conspiracy company even exists in the first place. They also started every goddamn problem and solution in society up to date. Every global pandemic and crisis, capitalism and the effect it has on the general public, school systems, the Black Plague, and most likely, even the existence of one-ply toilet paper. They're so evil. And in the final episode, they wanted Reagan to go ahead and join them to be their partner after she got a promotion to become the CEO after putting her dad and their old ass boss in prison. And of course, after doing some shenanigans like erasing her boyfriend's memory so he could live a brand new life without her, and Brett contemplating about killing Airbud to save their universe, she agreed. Then the episode ends off with the Shadow Board only making Reagan partner in the first place to manipulate her and execute some plan they had in mind, nicknamed Project X37. That's some Windows Explorer shit. And then the series just ends, just like that. Fade to credits, black screen, finished, never coming back. So what was the point then? I had to go surfing on the internet to even find out that the only reason Inside Job did get cancelled was because for how great season 1 was, season 2 didn't do that great. But my people, why this cancellation is stupid isn't because it wasn't well received, but it was because they didn't even bother to advertise and market season 2 in the first place. They just expected you to kind of know it was there already and pop off immediately. That's some horse shit. What kind of no-life crap is that? Do you think people are just serial binge watchers lurking on the websites of Netflix, never showering a day in their lives, and just bare refreshing the page endlessly until they see their favorite TV show drop? No! People have lives, jobs to go to. They go feed their families, man. So how would you expect a TV show to even gain any form of popularity without marketing it? That literally makes zero sense. What type of business are you trying to run here? Are you stupid? Holy shit, man. Humble yourselves. We don't care that you tried to buy Warner Bros. Your broadcasters didn't even end up doing it anyway. You're still terrible. Imagine it like this. You cancel shows like Inside Job because you, as a 10 million, 100 million, probably near enough billion-dollar streaming service, can't spend a little of your dough on making a couple trailers. Wow. And you wonder why it was poorly received, you flipping bums. You've been in the game for like 20 years and you can't make a simple trailer, you flipping twit. How you gonna cancel Inside Job but let shows like Paradise PD and Big Mouth exist? I'm not even a Big Mouth hater like that. But for the whole idea and premise of what Big Mouth was about, how the f did it end up having 8 seasons? It's not regular show. This is the same shit that had a guy moving freaky with his pillow fam. What the hell is that? And Paradise PD? Pump up the jam, pump it up. Yo, Paradise PD has a knockoff version of Brian from Family Guy. And this shit was straight up arse too. I've kind of noticed it now with some of their shows and wherever else they animate, is that these guys just tend to make mad freaky shit on their platform for people to binge. And when it comes to the more story-driven, calculated, and way better shows, they either cancel them or just make the ending garbage. Cause God knows, I despise the ending to Troll Hunters, man. Oh my god, it pisses me off. To cancel a show because it didn't get enough viewership is one thing. But to cancel a show because you couldn't market it properly is your own blunder. What does it mean to poorly advertise something and then just cancel it because you assumed everyone and their mom would just readily be available online for it like, sir, yes, sir. People have lives, bro. Get out of here. Netflix, just shut, man, I beg. You don't have no motion like that to think you can just pull viewers just like that. You ain't no Michael Jackson. Only niggas buying your shit nowadays is the millennials and the elderly. Everybody else is sailing the 7 seas, man. I hate you guys. And speaking of hate here, the second show I want to mention that hurts me even more than Inside Job, man, is Final Space. And I want you guys to know something. Is that I freaking used to love Final Space, man. Oh my days, this show was elite. There are no words to describe how much I adored this show as a kid. I mean, me and one of my homies back in school times low-key bonded and became better friends over this show. It gave me a friendship. And it was just phenomenal when it was still airing, man. This shit is elite ball knowledge if you remember. That's how good it was. If you're unfamiliar or can't recall this masterpiece at all, let me jog your memory real quick. Final Space is yet again another adult anime series in where it follows the story of a guy named Gary Goodspeed. A man who's serving a prison sentence on a giant spaceship for trying to play up that he could pilot one and ended up destroying a whole fleet of them. I mean, could you blame him though? He was trying to do it to impress the ladies. So fair enough, man. Anyway, the whole story basically starts by revolving around Gary and a friend he makes in space called Mooncake. And they just go on a bunch of intergalactic missions together, meeting people to join their crew, and then eventually, everybody's whole motive for the majority of the story here is to just make sure Mooncake never gets captured or anything. But my god, he needs no protection, because this little guy right here is busted. He's broken. He shoots energy beams that look like they would finesse whole planets. He does the most damage on their team. He's low-key carrying them, hitting play of the game consistently, fam. And it makes sense, because, spoilers again, he's literally made out of dimensional rift energy. The guy was created after Gary's dad back in the heyday closed the rift between their normal dimension and Final Space. Then boom, you get Mooncake, the same guy who could help forge a sword that brings down whole entire titans. He's a sicko! And the place Final Space in Final Space refers to the Dark Realm, where all the titans come from. Yeah, the show has Titans, it's kind of mad. And in the Titan realm, their minds are being warped and controlled by a primordial evil named Invictus. And Invictus is infecting all the rest of them and making them evil to capture Mooncake so they can use him to enter their dimension to most definitely do some menace shit. And these Titans are no joke. I mean, look at this. They gripped Earth like it was a whole basketball. Palmed that shit like they were finna dunk as if they were Venom. Stole that real quick like a lick. It was devious. And Invictus was using people like the Lord Commander to try and capture Mooncake for that sole purpose. In general, Final Space's story just gets even more interesting the more you go along and watch the show. I promise you, if you give it a try, you won't be disappointed. The show picks up quick. Not to mention the characters are goated as hell. You got Gary, Avocado, Lil Kato, Quinn. She's Gary's girlfriend, man. Future Quinn, Hugh, Kevin, Ash. These niggas, I forgot their names. This guy, I forgot his name. A little white tiger man and a bunch more characters. It was just elite. Every other episode had something more to offer than the last and would constantly keep you entertained. Not to mention some of the fighting and action in here was so peak. Like this show ultimately would remind you more of Rick and Morty just as much as Inside Job did. But with this show, it had more of a story-driven plot and bigger focuses on character development than just being comedic, which is what I loved about Final Space. It would go from being mad funny and chill in season 1 to getting hella dark real quick later on. I hella messed with it. I mean, we also had legendary characters like Bolo. And they knew he was Bolo. He was out here putting belt to ass in other Titans, showing the Mandem how they could beat Invictus and also watch the Titan for stealing his goal. He got his get back. But unfortunately, just like Inside Job, this show was cancelled, and Final Space also ended on a cliffhanger. And not only could you argue that it might be the biggest piss take you ever see in your life, but the end to their final cancelled show was like the biggest setup to what the story was eventually leading to in the first place. The whole time, the show was building up Invictus as the main bad guy, literally saying this person was the most evil thing in the show, making them manipulate some of the characters into doing shady shit and using people constantly. And at the very end of Final Space, and I mean the very end, the credits were rolling on this bitch, Invictus finally gets out of being in prison and appears for the first time. But that's when they decide to cancel the show. It's stupid. And you want to know why they even decided to cancel this? You want to know why they just decided to delete this and wipe it clean off the face of the planet? It's because Final Space became a tax write-off. Warner Bros were merging into a new company, which in turn led to said company becoming broke as shit. And since they were broke and had a lot of debt, they decided to either cancel shows completely or just use some of them as a tax write-off. So to put it simply here for you guys that don't understand, they used this show to not pay shit. The accounting gods have sacrifices like it was a goal or some shit. Final Space got benched even though it was so peak. Oh my god, this is jarring. It's annoying. Not only was it cancelled because of a tax write-off, but now you can't watch the show anywhere. It got removed off Netflix. It's not on a lot of major streaming services anymore, and it's not even spoke about anymore. It's dead. The only way you can watch it now, and let's be honest, this is the way everyone watches everything nowadays, is by sailing the 7 seas like you're Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean. I mean, I ain't mad at that, but still. Final Space isn't even the only show that got lynched. A bunch of other shit got removed too. Infinity Train, Close Enough, Westworld. I've never seen this a day in my life. But the point is, all these shows got cancelled for dumb reasons, like a tax write-off. That's gonna be the most greediest reason I've ever heard to justify cancelling a show. It's disgusting. It just disappointed me that Final Space got cancelled. You know, if the show were to get one more season, that could have most definitely been the final one. And then that would have solidified this program as one of the best adult anime series of all time. In fact, it could definitely rival the earlier seasons of Rick and Morty. Even Rick and Morty now is kind of mid. This show is just mad milked out now. Really and truly, when Rick killed Rick Prime, that should have been the end of the show. I'm not gonna lie to you. I will admit though, the first episode of season 9 is actually phenomenal. Got animation better than Invincible. But it just upsets me that Final Space couldn't break out into its full potential. It was such a good show, and to belittle it by using it as a corporate tax write-off for your greed is insane. Imagine working on this project, making that cliffhanger just for you to get tossed out by the studio. That's just sad. What about the creators and all the people who worked so hard on making this cartoon? That's not fair on them, you dickheads. Final Space will always be in my heart, because this show is always gonna mean something to me. This is Waves' recommendation right here. Go watch it. I promise you'll love this shit too, man. It's amazing. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the final show I want to speak about is one that didn't even get past the first season blood, but it had potential. It was funny, it was chaotic, and it was cool. It was kind of fire, man. And I am speaking about none other than Daybreak. Yeah, you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, don't you? Daybreak was a show that came out way back in 2019 on Netflix, and it was genuine heat. I remember I was still in secondary school when I first came across it, and I promise you, this show is hella underrated. I can even guarantee that almost nobody knows about this shit as well. It is truly a hidden gem. But if you do know about it already, then you're one of the valid ones, man. Just to give you a quick summary so you can understand what this is about, Daybreak is a show that's set in a post-apocalyptic world, in where a bunch of nukes were dropped and caused everything like people and animals to mutate, making the adult zombies called ghoulies who lack any consciousness beside eating people, and turned animals like dogs into flipping weirdos. Bunch of high school kids. They decided to separate and create a bunch of different factions and tribes. Like you got the jocks, the gamers, the cheerleaders, and the golf club. Don't know why the golf club have one. And in turn, all of these guys basically run their different areas and territories their own way. Long story short, people have gone berserk, animals have mutated, and the zombies in here definitely smell like ass cheeks. Nasty! And the story of Daybreak follows a guy named Josh Wheeler, a teenager who's learned to survive the apocalypse in his own way, and has been on a mission ever since it started to find his British girlfriend named Sam Dean. Along together with other people he meets on his journey, like Angelica, who he used to babysit, and Wesley, one of his former childhood bullies. These men will go ahead to fight other factions, meet up with more people, and eventually even fight against their old principal, who turned out to be the major bad guy. And this guy is a weirdo, man. He's a cannibal. He was straight up drinking smoothies on people and eating them. He's nasty. Look, if I'm being for real here, I'm kind of larping to talk about this show, I'll be honest. Come on, man. Don't hate on me. I'm human. I can't remember everything. My brain would explode. It's been a while since I've last seen Daybreak, so I can't really remember the whole story and important moments fully. But I do remember certain peak moments of the show that I think made this worth even bringing up. But none of that shit matters because it got cancelled. After one flipping season, they decided to cancel it. Why? Well, apparently it didn't do all that well, which honestly I can kind of believe. Like I said before, it takes elite ball knowledge to even remember this show in the first place. It's hella underrated. Like it was locked away in an archive for the majority of its life. Underrated. Ain't nobody know about this shit. But that doesn't change the fact that Daybreak probably could have had a banger season 2 if they wanted to renew it for one. And it definitely needed one, because I remember the flipping ending to this show, and it's stupid. You know how I said the whole show was about him finding his girlfriend? Well, he found her, but she doesn't want to be with him no more. And look, I'm not saying my guy Josh is owed a relationship from her, but god damn, he's literally been searching the whole apocalypse for 6 months to find her. I'm pretty sure he looked for her first than his own family. And by the end of the flipping first season, not only has their relationship gone to shit now, but she snaked him by taking control of his tribe and taking over from the flipping principal to become leader of the school now. She messed him over. While I'll admit it here, I don't really remember who's in the wrong between Josh and Sam. So Daybreak fans, you tell me who's in the wrong here. All in all though, Daybreak was like one of the best Netflix shows I've ever watched. And it had potential. And to end it with that cliffhanger, giving us another big bad and cancelling the show? This is why I hate Netflix. But you, man. And these are all the shows that I wanted to mention for today. Inside Job and Final Space will forever annoy me. I'll never forgive studios for how they did them. It's sick. Bring them back. If you guys have any more cancelled shows you miss yourselves or agree with some of the ones I have mentioned, comment down below, man. I love you all. I appreciate you all. And I'll catch you lot in the next one. Peace.